Man, internet issues be damned. We made it.
I'm gonna tell you what's
It's
funny. It's four people on the
every
show
one of us had
tonight.
something going on with the internet.
John is lagging right now. I don't know what's happening with mine. Dave is like echoing, and Will is all over the place. All four of us are having issues simultaneously. Out of your Falcon mind, you gotta love it.
Oh man, so hopefully we'll see how this goes. If it's just not working, then we'll just have to do the show another time. But anyway, guys, we got 10 days until the Falcons are playing regular season football in the bins against the Panthers. And we do have a couple of great guests tonight to help us preview the season and talk about all things Falcons. So let's go. Mike, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
And welcome in to episode 122 of Out of Your Falcon Mind, Atlanta Falcons Fancast. My name is John, your host, hopefully not lagging, I can't tell. Coming to you from the In the Clutch Studios. Make sure to use the code VarietySports and get 10% off your purchase at intheclutch.com. And joined by my co-host, Mr. Mike Cottrell. Buddy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I just posted for the first time in months on TikTok and all that. I'm doing well. Before we even start the show, I gotta say that again. I want to reiterate that. I want to thank y'all for rocking with me over the past few months, man. I've been going through hell on earth. It's things I cannot talk about on the podcast. I just don't talk about. It's very personal to me. But shit just really hit the fan about 2 weeks ago for me, and it seemed like a rainbow came right after. So I just appreciate you guys for always rocking with me. And man, I've been hurt, man. I've been hurt, just going through a lot, man. But I really appreciate because y'all always make me feel good, and I'm bouncing back, man. So I feel good. Just stick with me, and I'm gonna turn it up. It's football season. I love it. I'm happy. I'm excited. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. But mental health is a very real thing. I encourage anybody, man. If you don't feel well, man, fuck a podcast. If you don't feel well, man, fuck scoots. That your mental health and your sanity comes before anything. So I understand, like, your job, you got to go to work and everything, but after that, your mental health comes before any hobby or any passion you got. So take care of yourself, because me taking care of myself is the only reason I haven't gone insane. So thank you guys, and of course you guys, thank you, and especially, man, Berto, man, Curry, and all the usual ones, man. I really love you.
And yeah, man. Glad you're obviously doing better, man. That's I mean, I know more than most people do, but that's again, man, that's between us and you, and that's it. But yeah, man, just glad you're doing well, of course, buddy. But yeah, and let's go ahead and bring in one of our guests.
Let's go,
Mr. Will McFadden from the Falcons Podcast.
What's up, guys? I'm excited to be here, Mike. That's I'm glad you're doing well as well. I'm very much looking forward to talking football with you, get you excited for the season. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited for this year in Atlanta when it comes to football. So let's get into it. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
For sure. Happy to have you.
Yeah,
happy to have
somebody we. Yeah, man. Am I still lagging, by the way?
No.
Yeah, I think we're all caught up.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, that's amazing. Okay, because we pay a lot for internet for it to suck, so that's really, I'm glad it's coming through good now. So yeah, I mean, we've listened to you and read your articles for a long time, so I mean, it's awesome to have you on the show, buddy. And we've got Dave from the Falcoholic will be here in a second. Like Mike was just saying, he was echoing like a mother a few minutes ago. We could hear everything that we were saying through his speakers, so he's trying to figure that out with a different laptop, but he'll be here shortly when he does. So buddy, we just surpassed 800 subscribers, man. How about that?
Hey, out of
congratulations.
Your 800. Thank you, guys. That's what I'm talking about.
Man. That was very cool.
Good to come on. I love y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, man, we were close right before the show. And I just put it on Twitter. I was like, hey, can we get like 4 subscribers before the show starts tonight? It'd be great. And then, yeah, man, folks came through and subscribed. It was awesome. I do have to plug Variety Sports Network. They're kind enough to be the ones hosting us on this platform. And shout out a few shows, man. Saturday Showdown. If you guys are college football fans, they actually come on right after our show's over with for the most part, or maybe a little bit near the end they'll be on. But you can always catch the replay on Variety Sports if you go subscribe there. Great college football show. They just started up this year. Then Talking the Gridiron is back, which is a Sunday night, late night football show because most of the guys, the NFL podcast, most of the guys are on the West Coast. So it comes on later for us. It's normally around 10 or 11 o'clock, but also make sure you hit that up. And if you're new to the channel, man, welcome in. I hope the stream stays good. Most of the time, we're great. Only thing that happens is Michael frees at least 2 times the show. But most of the time, we're pretty good. I don't know what's going on tonight. very, very much so. I don't know what's going on tonight, but it's hopefully it'll just get worked out. But yeah, we've got anyway, if you're here, man, hope you like the content. Hit the like button for us so more Falcons fans can find us. Hit the subscribe button so you get the notifications when we go live and when we post videos, all that good stuff. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify or any other podcast provider, drop us a 5-star review so we can keep growing on those platforms as well. We very much appreciate that. We do have merchandise. Mike, that's a good looking TV you got there, buddy. We do have merchandise at bonfire.com/out of your Falcon mind. And I just started this up. September is one of the months where the Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And we are selling a purple Out of Your Falcon Mind shirt. You can get it men's, women's, whatever. And the portion of the proceeds will go toward Alzheimer's research development to try to find a cure for that. Some of y'all know I lost my father to that a few years ago, back 2017. Not something you want to see anybody go through or have a family member go through. So again, something we thought would be cool. Throw it out there. We're going to have some more charitable type stuff coming up throughout the year as well. So we just figured we would have that one out there. It's just, like I said, all purple shirts. So you guys can support us and support a great cause all at the same time. So feel free to do that. We very much appreciate it. All right, guys. Actually, Mike and I talked about the 53-man roster. We'll just get into the start. We'll just start there. What did you think about the 53-man? Anything surprise you or not surprise you, or what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I think for as much as this camp was competitive and we saw some camp battles change from where everything started off at the beginning to where things ended up. And you saw guys like DeMarco Hellams, earn their way over a player, maybe like a Mike Abernathy. And, at the beginning of camp, we were talking about the left guard battle, which ended up not being one, unfortunately, due to Matt Hennessy's injury. So as things kind of played out, 2 things were true at once. I think that it was clear that this was a very competitive camp and that these cuts were going to be hard. But I also think that when you saw the list, it wasn't too surprising. There were certainly names on the initial cut list that I were surprised to see, like Parker Hesse, like Timmy Horn, solely because I definitely thought that they, like Parker Hesse for sure, based on what he did last year, like he's, in my opinion, a glue guy for this offense, just in the versatility that he has. And I think that he's a little bit of a key cog in just the way they move stuff around. So I was surprised to see in there Timmy Horn, the way he played and just the size that he brings to a defensive line that has gotten a lot bigger this offseason. I thought that it made sense for him to stick around. And so seeing their names, it was a little bit surprising, like I said, but I always felt like, okay, if they get through waivers, they're coming back. Like this isn't goodbye. And that's what we saw. And we saw, a guy like Natrone Brooks, who I really liked this preseason, making a lot of plays in the secondary, reminds me a little bit of like a poor man's Devin Witherspoon in terms of his attitude and just the tenacity that he brings kind of both as a tackler and in coverage. And so these guys that I really liked all kind of came back. So in that way, there's not really like a true, the cuts kind of happened before this cut down, right? It was Michael Walker being, sent away. It was Jalen Mayfield beforehand. It was, Frank Darby, like going on injured reserve. These were the players that were, I think, along the way, a little bit more surprising than anybody we saw on that final cut down.
I love it.
Yeah, I would agree. And just side note, Jalen Mayfield did get picked up today by the Giants.
Saw
So
that.
he actually may fit a little bit better there because they do run a gap scheme. Yeah, they run a gap scheme there, so maybe a little bit better than run the outside zone as we do here. Who knows? I mean, I hope the best for him. Obviously, it wasn't a fit here. But hey, let's see if Mr. Dave is going to be.
Dave, what up?
Dave, say something, buddy.
Say something.
Am I echoing?
No echoes. You're good, Dave.
Oh, thank God. Sorry.
We don't hear
yeah.
That's perfect. We do not hear ourselves. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This was.
You're going to have to go to your third
I'm
laptop.
on work
if that didn't
all
work.
day. I don't want to be on, and everything works perfectly. But I go to show up here, and I got problems. So that's great.
I love it. Thank you for coming, Dave.
It's all good, man.
good to
Dave, man,
be
thanks
here.
for coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is your third visit, right? I think sounds right.
I think so. Third or fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, third or fourth. I think it's his fourth.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
I think I was back here at
Is
like
it?
what
I mean, I
episode?
don't remember, man.
It's been a while.
Man, Dave, the third host of the show.
Yeah, you might
buddy.
be right. Yeah, it might be right because we had.
Yeah, man. Dave,
yeah, I mean, I think you were. I mean, you were nice enough to come on when we had like 3 viewers. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Well, Dave. Yeah. Well, Dave.
Let me get
Will
to
just
this.
gave his thoughts on the 53.
Hold on,
man.
John.
Any-
1 minute, John, because I just got to ask. I'm so curious.
Go ahead, Mike.
My man, Will, what is
Yo.
that behind you, man? I see two things. It looked like a Home Depot apron and is that a football in the case?
You were 2 for 2. There you go.
Oh, that's awesome. See, why do you have that? Why do you have like the Home Depot small?
Well, my wife works for Home Depot.
Oh, that's
and
okay.
the Arthur Blank family. So
I love
of course. Yeah. Got to represent.
I love it. Gotta represent.
That's great, man. All right, Dave, your thoughts on the 53, buddy? Anything surprise you, stand out, shock you, anything like that?
Besides obviously we were all mourning for Parker Hesse there for a little bit. It was a tough one. But I think, for a roster that was tough to make, the fact that only Hesse and Timothy Horn really surprised me as cuts is fairly surprising. I think it unfolded pretty predictably. Like there was a lot of angst all spring, all summer about starting quarterback here, who's going to be the swing tackle there, et cetera. And everything kind of played out, I think, the way most of us expected. Like I think if you looked at 53-man projections coming into it, everybody was off by like 2 or 3 guys, and that was it. So I think that's a testament to how obvious like the best guys on this roster were. Hopefully, like we're hoping for the best here, but I do think it's a good roster. I'm still concerned about depth. I think seeing them cut Josh Miles and then pick up Isaiah Prince was like getting a flat tire and putting some duct tape on it, but we'll see how that goes. So.
John is in space. I don't care what nobody say. John is in space. Like, I don't even know if he can hear us. John, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Yeah.
You don't seem like it, buddy. Like you having mental
Mike, can you hear me
issues
now?
as well, sir?
We can hear
We can
you,
hear you.
John. Can you hear us?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can hear you. Yeah.
You
I
can't
can
hear us,
you.
John?
There's a big delay.
good
There's
now?
a delay again.
Yeah, is it good now?
Did
Yeah,
you
it's
just say
fine.
that,
think
or
so.
did you say that 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, right.
All right, Mike, you're going to take over the show, buddy. I'll be back.
Okay. Let him turn it off. Hey, here's what I want to do. I just want to start here. I want to go Dave. Dave, what is the biggest shock that you've seen so far before the season starts? As far as just something you did not expect from the team or the coaches or the fans or anything. Just what is the biggest thing that you're like, damn, I wasn't expecting that this season?
I was gonna say like the fight over quarterback, but that's the least shocking thing I guess that happened all off season. So let's not say that.
Yeah.
In some ways, like even though I know a bunch of the team at the Falcoholic talked about it, everybody talked about it, I was still surprised at the end of the day that they went with Bijan Robinson. Like I was like, they can get this done with any running back. Tyler Algier just had a 1,000-yard season. I didn't really believe that they would do it. I'm not unhappy they did it. I think it's like we're going to really go for this thing. We are going to have the greatest rushing attack in the NFL. We're going to have, a chess match every game with this positionless football. Bijan Robinson's lining up at left tackle. So whatever it is, whatever the reason, the rationale, and the production that he puts forward, like I was surprised that they actually ultimately took him. But that's kind of what makes it exciting is like they really felt like they could take this thing to an entirely different level than one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL, which they just had last year.
What did you want, Dave? If you could have drafted who you wanted, who does Dave pick at that pick?
I was going for Tyree Wilson at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going for I am every year I'm all in on that pass rusher, right? Like the difference making pass rusher, half the time it wouldn't have worked out even if they do it, but they never do it. So
I got you.
Yeah, that's kind of how I talked myself into. I said probably that, maybe another corner. So I didn't really believe they'd do it at the end of the day. That was I think everything else this offseason, like even the Mac Hollins signing, did not catch me off guard at all. So that was like the one big surprise to me. But again, it's like it's a good surprise. Like he's
so
awesome.
You're not mad at the surprise right now. Like you are happy about it.
I was, I needed to absorb it draft night, but again, he's a singular talent. So
I got you.
Yeah,
I love it. That's same here. Will, I gotta know, out of all the things that you was expecting, like what's the one thing you was like, that caught me off guard? I did not think we was going in that, or what was it?
Yeah. Dave's great answer was great, but unfortunately it was number 2 on the board. So I'll give you the number 1 answer. And that is Arthur Smith's mustache. I did not see that coming at all this offseason. Are you kidding me? Arthur Smith rocking just a solo mustache. I did not know he loved Top Gun that much. Well, that is number 1 in my heart. I think my my real answer, because like Dave said, there's not a ton that was surprising. Like I personally understand why people would say, sticking with Desmond Ridder is shocking, or in some degree not going after Lamar Jackson is shocking, but that all makes sense to me. So what I'm going to say is, and this is shocking in the sense that I'm glad they did it, I just didn't necessarily see it coming, and that is making Chris Lindstrom the highest paid guard in NFL history. I think that is really putting your money where your mouth is. Arthur Smith talks all the time about building and investing in the trenches. If you catch him at the podium and he starts bringing up, or you phrase a question with, Drake London, Kyle Pitts going into, year 2, year 3, like what are the expectations, blah, blah, blah. He would sit there and say, okay, we also got, Drew Dahlman going up into his, another jump year. We also have a guy like Taquan Graham, who we're looking at, like he's going to bring up these players in the trenches because he wants to really make sure that the spotlight is on them as well. So I thought that from an organizational standpoint and a tone that you set in the locker room, investing in one of the best young leaders that you have, not only in the community, but in the team, really sends a message that is going to resonate not only like with the players currently on this roster, but I think with free agents and with, future draft picks. Like that really does send a really, really strong beacon that you're going to do what you say and kind of build, I think, teams the right way.
Man, I love that. And the thing is, Will, like it is also prompts players to like want to come here who are like in the trenches. If he highlight, if he don't just skip, he don't just say Bijan and like Kyle Pitts. If he highlight, no, yeah, they good. But have you heard it? Like, have you seen this guy? That's going to make those guys in the trenches feel good and want some more dudes to come here. I love that.
100%. I mean, his son was wearing I think a Kyle Pitts jersey at the podium one day, and he was like, yeah, don't worry, we've got a Chris Lindstrom in the back. We got some Grady Jarrett's, like it's not just Kyle Pitts. Cause of course the media, like we pick up on that right away. And it's like, oh, is that his favorite player? He's like, nah, this is a big Caleb McGarry guy, he's going to make sure to call everybody out.
I love it. Johnny Yates. Now, how you feeling, buddy?
Man, I feel great now. How am I looking? How am I sounding?
Now you look clearer and you sound clearer.
Yeah.
Well, I had to move down to the office because I had to be right next to the modem. So this hopefully will work.
So far, so good.
We're just a little cursed tonight. We got it out of the way. We're good now.
Jesus, man.
When like my internet is the best, it's a problem. When my internet is, I'm telling you.
I mean, I go on Twitter and ask for some more subscribers, and they tune in. They're like, "What the hell is this shit? They can't even get their connection right. And it's going slow. They're lagging. It's all kinds of crap." All right, so I don't know what I missed, but any thoughts on preseason playing time? A lot of folks are pissy about the first team not getting enough snaps, and they need more snaps because they haven't had enough together. And Desmond's young, and there's a young team, and blah blah blah. So we'll start with you, buddy. Your thoughts on that? Does it make do you think it's gonna make a huge difference week 1?
No. If the starters had gone out and played one more drive and gone 3 and out, or marched 15 plays and scored a touchdown, I don't think that has any meaningful impact on their opening drive against Carolina. Honestly, I know it didn't end in a touchdown. That was pass interference on the interception. It's fine. It doesn't matter one way or the other because the 6 points are irrelevant. Like, we saw what we needed to see from that drive, even though the offense was going about as vanilla as you possibly could. But what we saw was, a 12 personnel package deployed 3 different ways on 3 consecutive plays. And they did 3 totally different things out of those 3, but they all kind of intertwined and married together. And that's what this offense is going to be. They executed that stuff really, really well. I do think coaches nowadays are very smart with the way, because the way that the previous CBA changed and limited the time that players spend on the field, and I kind of agree with that, because we don't have to get into all of that, but it did change a lot of things. And I think it caught a lot of coaches who are naturally resistant to change, or at least for a long time have been naturally resistant to change. They were slow to adapt to that and kind of kept trying to do the same things, and the product on the field got a little bit worse. Now, I do think coaches are taking a much smarter approach to practices, and they probably feel like they can see everything they need to see and get a better evaluation just kind of in the confines of their own practice field, going against guys who they also know inside and out. So you get a better way of like kind of truly comparing one player against the next. And I don't know. I just don't put a ton of stock in preseason. I'm starting to think teams don't put a ton of stock in preseason either. And so I'm really curious to see what happens with preseason games kind of down the road, because I do think we may be drawing closer to an end than I would have said maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and just watching Desmond speak to the reporters the other day, I mean, I think they asked him if he felt like he was ready, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm fine." He's like, I go against a very good defense in practice, and Arthur had already alluded to the practices being very physical, which they are. You guys have been there, seen it, padded practices, they get after it. So I mean,
yeah, and short of Zach Anderson, like, these guys aren't going back and like working there. Football's a year-round thing. These guys aren't going back and working their full-time jobs now, like as they were when this was a sport where dudes were making like $20,000 playing football. And that's like what you needed training camp. You needed a preseason to get like into that. It's a year-round business now. And I just kind of don't think we need that as much.
Yeah. Dave?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's almost more for the fans, right? Like, would we all have liked to have seen a little bit more without the penalty issues? Would we have liked to have seen them score a touchdown, interception from Jesse Bates or something like that? Yes, we would have.
Sure.
And I think probably with a little bit more time, we'd all feel a little bit better about preparation. But I really think that what this stems from is more how they've come out the last 2 years, right? And especially in 2021, where Arthur Smith was way less mellow. The mustache hadn't been grown out yet. And he was very fiery about, we are going to be ready. We do not need preseason, etc. And then they just got their asses kicked, as we all saw. So I think it's memories of that's really driving this. Like, to me, one way or the other, yes, I would have liked to have seen more. I don't ultimately think it's going to make a huge difference. The only way in which it's going to make a difference is people's reaction, right? Because if they do come out flat,
oh, Mel, my God.
That's what you're going to point to. We all know it.
Right? I'm not checking into Twitter that day. No, I'll be.
But that's the risk.
Yeah,
they know
100%.
that.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think he's not worried about that. I mean, like they, and that's the thing. I mean, I go so far with folks, but I don't argue too much because it drives me nuts. But like, we're not there every day. He knows his team and his guys a lot better than we do. I mean, just point blank period. And, like Dave said it perfectly. Yeah, I would love to have seen the first team. Hell, I would love to see him for a quarter as a fan. Like okay, so you can really see Bijan get into it, and see the connection that Ridder has with whoever, but yeah, overall, I'd much rather have them all healthy and not have any issues in a meaningless game, especially in the third game. So, I mean, yeah, Mike, what did you think, buddy? Anything?
No, I'm just saying, man, he's like damned if he do and he's damned if he don't. If you play somebody and somebody get hurt, oh, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker. Why would you ever? But if you don't play them and they start out flat, oh, you got to be the dumbest. Like you just the dumbest. So it's nothing you could do. It's no win. And like you said, I just trust him. He's there every day. He know I'm a fan. So I'm like, I want to see Bijan go break and go do like a long run, and then we can all get excited, man. Kyle Pitts with a one-handed. You want to see that as a fan, but even if they go out there and get hurt, that you would have been like, damn, I kind of wish he didn't do that. But I don't think it affect. I don't think it affect. Like I said, if you can show me a study that say if you play the players in the preseason all the way through that they play better, I haven't seen that correlate. So I've seen players who didn't play and then they play well, and players who played and played like shit. There's no correlation between that, so I don't care.
Yeah. So, all right, before we go on, I got to catch up with the chat. Sorry, guys. So, obviously, we have guests tonight. We have a lot to talk about. So, I can't hit everybody, but I do want to say hello to a few. Bubba Gump, what up, buddy? Good to see you. Kenny, what's up, man? Our boy Alberto, man. He said, can't wait to hear y'all talk about topics at hand. This is an elite cast of minds. Make sure y'all check out our boy Alberto on the 95 North Falcons talk show. Him and Smitty every week, man. They bring it for us.
Millie Mills. Hey, what up?
Okay, what's up? Atlanta supporter, what's up?
What up? False start Falcon.
All right. D, what's going on, man?
Where you been, man? Pam.
Miss Pam, good to see you. Ant, what's up?
Ant, what up, Ant?
Kiki, what's going on?
What up?
Make sure to check out Kiki on One Time for the Fan.
You got to do it. Mental health is important, man. I'm already out of my Falcon mind. I don't need another push. I might do something crazy. JJ, Mike, check.
Oh, man.
Terry, completely agree. Mike, mental health is so important and it's often overlooked compared to physical health. It is. I'm so glad you're doing better. Mike, sending you good vibes. Thank you, buddy. Atlanta supporter, prayers for you, Mike. Thank you. I'm not on crack, sir. I'm just having mental health issues, but I'm back. I'm fine. Jordan, what up? What's going on, fellas? Hope everyone in the chat. Smitty, the blueprint.
What's up, Smitty? There it is. I'm just going through. Smitty. Timothy, what's going on, man? Rise up.
Rise up.
Ty, what's going on, man? Good to see you, bud.
You're gonna blow some mind. Smitty, thank you, Mike, for video on mental health. For sure. Thank you. I'm gonna do some more on those. Glad you're in better shape. Thank you. Man, Mike. Well, Mad Mike would love to have you on as hey, I love you, buddy. Thank you, man.
I think he was talking to Will there, but wait, Mike will come on too if he wants.
I love you, buddy. Oh, he did say Will. I thought you wanted to have me on, Mike. Damn, you just embarrassed.
Let's go on together, Mike. We'll go on together.
We go on together, man.
We'll go on together.
It's like a package deal. Uncle Steve. Out of your fucking mind. Thanks for great Thursday evening sports talk while I'm at work. Why you still at work, Uncle Steve? 10-day countdown, buddy.
Last one out, baby. Last one out.
Last one out, buddy. I love it. Paycheck hitting.
Yeah, Uncle Steve, man. Make sure y'all check Uncle Steve every week too, man. 2 great shows, at least a week. Yeah, we got you, man, Mike. It's all good. Let's see what we got.
Dave the legend.
Let's see. Hey, man, Bubba, dude, we all have been dealing with it tonight, so it's all good, man. Internet's going crazy.
Yeah, what is happening? Like, somebody go find the national router and unplug it and plug it back in.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Ridiculous.
It said the Pablo Escobar look is amazing for Coach Smith.
Some of those screenshots look like found footage. I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Into the camera.
Bob Gump said, "I've yet to hear about any snap issues this entire training camp and preseason."
Knock on wood.
Yep. Yeah. Make sure you do that. All right, Smitty. Smitty has a question for you guys, man. How do you think Arthur Smith will manage the RB room in regards to playing time and snaps? Dave, how about you? Take it.
That's a great question. I really don't know where Patterson's going to fit into this. Like, I would have thought even a year ago that he would have gotten more time at receiver than he did. maybe this is the year with the issues that they have with depth. But I expect him to be on the short end of the stick for playing time. It's just the way it is. As great as he is, they'll use him sparingly, try to maximize him. We know that late in the season, he's been a little bit less effective as the touches pile up. So to me, it's going to be not an even split between Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, but I think Algier is going to get a lot more work than people thought he would, considering they just took Bijan. I think ideally you don't want to give Robinson, even 20, but definitely not 25, 30 touches a game. You want him taking high leverage touches that you are trying to maximize the gains that he can get. And I think that Algier can do the work for you in short yardage situations, on early downs when you need him. Even as a third down back, he's a capable enough receiver. So I fully expect it to be like 55-45, 60-40 for Bijan rather than like 70-30, 80-20. And then, what Patterson picks up is probably based on how healthy he is, game flow, that kind of stuff. But to me, I do see this actually being a two-headed backfield. I don't think that's just coach talk.
Yeah.
They love Tyler. He loves Tyler Algier.
Yeah. And I mean, even they asked Bijan yesterday, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, where he lines up. And he was like, yeah, everywhere. I line up everywhere. And so, I mean, it's not just going to be he's in the backfield and running. He's going to be all over the place. So like he said, so Will, what'd you say, buddy?
Yeah, no, Smitty, I got reading this question made me maybe my most excited for the season, because it kind of just hit me that, like the next time we'll see the Falcons, Bijan will be getting a workload of carries like in a meaningful NFL game. They're going to unleash everything. They're going to unleash Kyle Pitts. We're going to see Drake London. We're going to see Bijan Robinson. And so this question made me just so excited, because this, I think, is the number one thing I'm most curious to see. And I totally agree with your point, Dave, that last year I was not expecting Cordarrelle Patterson to be that much of a runner, at least like definitely early on in the season. I mean, he was carrying the ball like 25 times and did really well. I mean, had these big runs, but I think it was Josh Kendall who had a recent piece, and it reminded me of the fact that Damian Williams was on this roster at this point last year and was, I think, in line for a decent amount of that actual running back workload. So I think the plan was Damian Williams is kind of our, running back in the mix. Then we've got Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley as kind of these, and Avery Williams. And I think the plan was for Cordarrelle Patterson to be this, roaming joker player that they always envisioned. And in year one, it was Mike Davis and Cordarrelle Patterson. And I think they were figuring out what they had in those two, but they've always envisioned this to be a two-headed backfield with then that third kind of wild card player. And I think that's going to truly be Cordarrelle Patterson. It's just they've hopefully finally figured that 1-2 punch out in the backfield for the full term of the season. And I agree completely. I think it's going to be Bijan and Tyler Algier. I do think that Bijan is going to get a nice amount of touches. I don't know if it's going to be like 30 a game, but I don't know if they're going to be afraid to kind of give him the ball a good bit. I think he said in the past, like the hot hand matters. If they're on that 12-play drive and Bijan gets like 8 touches on that drive and he finishes the game then with like 27 or something, like I think that's fully possible over the course of the season. But I also think that the counter is possible as well. And it's Tyler Algier who's out touching him in a game if these guys are cooking. So really, I think it just is going to be game to game. Who is feeling it? What's the matchup? The good thing is that's going to be really tough for defenses to game plan against. You're not going to know. It's going to be different week to week. That's what this Falcons offense is predicated on, is, okay, all of these guys can kind of do all of the things well. So good luck, because we can, on any given play, we can do anything and try to figure that out. So yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, say the least, man. It's going to be, a lot of folks earlier. Well, I didn't say earlier, but maybe earlier this summer, we're talking about how Arthur's going to be on the hot seat, which I think's ridiculous. Unless they just have a terrible
they go
just
3-14,
right.
Yeah, okay,
but They're going to But I mean, he's going to be expected to be that guy this year with now he has, now like Mike said, before on the show, he didn't shop at the dollar store this offseason. I mean, like they've got kind of who they want in the positions they want him in. So, he's going to be expected to, live up to that his end of the bargain as well. So it should be interesting to see all the different sets. I can't wait, man. Because the preseason we didn't see hardly. We just saw just bare minimum vanilla everything. No, he don't give anything away. So I can't wait to see what he comes out with. Our brother said Desmond to show such grit to him. Evidence was joint practice against Miami. Sky's the limit for him, and Arthur knows what DR is capable of, which leads me into the next thing. And it's been going on. I've never seen a quarterback take so much shit for 4 starts, guys. I mean, like just good or bad. I mean, it's just been, and it's, I think on a national level, a lot of folks I talk to that are not around the team and not following the Falcons, they just see it as like, he crappy 4 games. He's not the guy. They don't take into account the scheme, the fit, what Arthur runs here, what the offense is going to be, which to me, it's huge. And that's not just for Desmond, but for any quarterback success. We've seen guys come in on top of the draft and they're just not a good fit for a certain scheme when they tank, they fail, and they may pop up somewhere else and do well. Geno Smith, it happens. I mean, like Pete Carroll designed that offense for Geno Smith and it worked. We'll see if it works for 2 years in a row, but hey, it worked last year. So what are you expecting from Desmond this year? Anything? I mean, like just all the crap around him. I mean, to me, it seems like he's the type of dude that's going to take all that negativity, put it into the right, like channel it and just like go and ball out on the field. Because again, he's not being asked to go out there and beat Pat Mahomes. It's not the expectation,
right?
And nobody thinks that. I mean, that's at least following the team. I mean, but like again, like what's your take on Desmond and his?
Yeah, I'll provide both an answer and a quick plug. I spoke with Nate Tice of The Athletic yesterday for my podcast, Bleav in Falcons, but due to the technical difficulties that seem to be plaguing the entire world today, that is a little bit delayed. So it'll either be up tomorrow at some point or it may be a Tuesday rollout. But I will preface that conversation, which you should go listen to for all of the great things Nate had to say, by saying he is a big fan of Desmond Ridder. And he really likes the mental makeup. I think in terms of what the personalities of Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder, I think they are kind of 2 polar opposites.
Thank God.
I think that Desmond Ridder has much more of that. Like guys in the locker room really like him. Guys in the huddle, trust him, kind of believe in his demeanor. He has more of that kind of composure. I think that unwavering demeanor that's not just like, inside of a game, it's unwavering, like how guys get just all amped. I think people are like, look, it could be a Tuesday morning or it could be the middle of the 3rd quarter and you're down by 2 touchdowns and you got to have this 3rd down. And he's just going to kind of be the same guy. So I think that's like from a personality standpoint, what you're hearing players say. From a skill standpoint, every quarterback, whether it be Marcus Mariota or Ryan Tannehill that Arthur Smith has really worked with, drives the ball. They're like line drive throwers. That's what Desmond Ridder is. And so if he misses, it's generally going to be a little bit more noticeable. If you play beer pong, right, and you just dart the ball at the cup, you're probably just going to miss the cup completely. If you put a little touch on it, you may hit the lip and it's going to bounce out. It's the same result. One just looks a little bit better. So I think we tend to maybe overrate just because his misses are bad, but he does the things that are going to be used in this offense, the over the middle throws, then these boundary hole shots when they get that single coverage against these cover 1 or cover 3 looks that they want to draw defenses into. So the big question is his pocket feel, how does he use his legs, and then playing within this offense. Like you said, John, like he doesn't have to do too much. They can build this thing around him and he just needs to operate within it, not necessarily elevate all of it. Just do what you need to do, point and shoot. Ball needs to go here right now, get it there right now, and we'll keep going. So I think he can do more than enough. And if he's just average to above average, then this offense can be really good. Like that's all he needs.
Yeah. And Dave, before you answer, I mean, Arthur put a number 15th ranked offense on the field last year with Marcus for 12 games.
Missing left and right, like just missing their deep shots that were there. Yeah.
Just so put that in perspective now. If you have now you've upgraded talent at all your skill positions, and you have a quarterback who can hopefully, hit more shots than that. I mean, you'd almost have to try not to be honest. But I mean, that's where we're at. Dave, your call, buddy.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to be fine at worst, right? And I think, I said this to someone else the other day. They were like, what is your expectation for him? Is he league average? Is he below average? I think he can be right in the middle of the pack this year, maybe a little bit better if things break right, if he's showing growth. And that's going to be probably enough for this offense to be elite. I think this offense can
yes, Dave.
I think this offense can be really, really good if he's like the 26th best quarterback in football. Because again, you said it last year, it didn't matter. Like Mariota was missing left and right. We saw him, Kyle was pushing that boulder up the hill every week, and he wasn't catching it because it was nowhere near him. And so if Ridder's just a little bit better than that and can play within this offense with a better cast of playmakers, a healthy Kyle Pitts that I know he's not going to miss the same way, like we know how good this team can be, right? So he does not have to be great, to Will's point, for this offense to be great, but I think, he can be good. And if he is good, this team is going to be impossible to stop, because it seems to me that besides health, he is the only question mark you've got. And I don't think he's that big of a question mark. I think it's just the third round, draft pedigree, people not believing in him because they waited so long to turn to him because it felt like he was a plan B, when I think he was really the plan all along. He was just maybe supposed to sit behind Ryan before everything blew up. So yeah, to me, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah. And folks, Mike, I know you look really excited, so I'm gonna let it go to you.
Because here's why, man. Will is giving beer pong tips, and Dave is talking humble shit, saying, man, if the man is functional, we gonna be elite. Greatest guest ever, man. I love it. I love talking shit. You're damn right.
And it's what you said, Dave, too, is true. I mean, we all wanted to see him earlier than we did last year, right? We all wanted to see him like week 8, but Arthur kept saying, we'll play him when he's ready, and Des said something the day, the reporters, they asked him about what it's like being under center, because he didn't do that in college. I mean, he said he was under center a handful of times in college. It was really this, spread type go. And that's the case for a lot of different college quarterbacks. So when they get to the pros, they have to learn how to play under center, and it's footwork is it's a whole other bag of tricks they have to learn. Not to mention, you've got to now figure out Arthur Smith's offense, which is not a easy thing to do as well. So yeah, as much as we wanted to see him earlier last year, maybe it's better that we didn't, because he could have just fell on his face, and you don't know what that does to somebody's confidence. No matter how confident a guy you are, you come out there and you're getting hammered left and right. You don't know what's going on or what the next play is going to be. That bad things can happen. So I mean, I totally agree, Mike. Any concerns at all from you on him?
From who? For who?
Ridder.
No, we went to the Super Bowl. I have no concerns about that. No, you should skip me with that crap. Here's what I don't get about people, and I don't understand is the dude has not, it ain't like he stunk it up, but people's reaction is like, oh, this dude came out horrible. And that's kind of the vibe, like, why would we stick with this trash and third round pick? Like, yeah, he was functional. He was a rookie. That was his first time getting thrown in, and he looked like it. He didn't play bad. He played functional. He played all right. And so I don't get why people are so much against that. And I agree with Dave. I think if he is Alex Smith, we going to Super Bowl, buddy. That's how I'm looking at, man. We going undefeated if he Alex Smith. When you got everything around him, he would have to be really bad. And I believe that with like the coach too. It would have to be bad coaching for us to plummet this shit. Have to be bad quarterback. To me, the questions are the coach and the quarterback. Like, because man, does the coach he just know what to do with this? Yeah, man, Mike going ham down below.
Shoot your shot, baby. Shoot your shot, man.
Just that. I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
No, I would just add to that real quick and say that's not necessarily anybody's favorite comparison for him, but I think like mid to late career Alex Smith would be awesome for Desmond Ridder. Like, it's easy to forget he was way more mobile than people give him credit for, and he was a really smart, capable quarterback. And if that's what we get from Desmond Ridder, yeah, you're in great shape.
Well, and I would add to that as well, like your point, Mike, about his last 4 games. Like, he got better over each of those 4 games, and that has been something that, if you look at kind of in totality of their draft classes, the Falcons have valued guys who get better over the course of their careers in college. Arnold Ebiketie, somebody like that. Richie Grant, somebody like that. Desmond Ridder, somebody like that. Matthew Bergeron, somebody like that. So I mean, you're seeing a like growth track record of these guys that they're drafting, and that should hopefully continue in the NFL, because that speaks to the passion that they bring, the drive, their self kind of involvement in their own growth. So yeah, I wouldn't discount Desmond Ridder if he starts slowly. Like, again, I'm not going to pile on him. Like, I think that I think he's got the makeup, and it's going to be a long season, but this team is going to be better than they've been.
Yeah, I mean, we were. I felt like we've been taking bullets for him since the freaking start, since they, put him in the starting position, the role as a quarterback. But and we've said it until our folks are probably sick of us saying it, but the mental, like, and you've mentioned earlier, Will, I mean, like, the mental makeup of especially a quarterback, man, it is so overlooked. I mean, especially in this offense and scheme, being able to diagnose what you see quickly and we're talking about seconds. These guys have to, and when in play action, I mean, you turn your back to the defense. You've got a half second or two to look, read, make the right decision. And that's where that's where the play calling comes in. That's where Arthur Smith's scheme comes in. That's where the positionless football comes in, because you've got guys lined up everywhere with you're trying to find that hole in the defense or find that open space. So, to me, like, that gets overlooked so much, and that, he's got the mental makeup. And like Timothy said here, he's a winner. He was undefeated at home in college and the NFL so far, winner mentality. I mean, like, all that stuff matters, but also just being a smart dude. I mean, like, just basically just being a smart guy, being able to pick up the offense and execute it, and that's, and knowing that, his work ethic is next to none. I mean, being a first guy in the building, last guy to leave type of thing. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for, man, from your quarterback. I mean, he just has to go out there now and prove it. That's it. He's got, that's what's on his left to do. Then we can stop talking about it. But Morgan, man, what's up, man? Good to see you,
man.
A1 forever. What's going on, man?
A1.
We met Chris at the little creator meetup, man. It was awesome. Will, are you still in Atlanta? Will, yeah, you're still around here, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I'm in Bleav.
So next we did a like Atlanta, JR from Pound for Pound got an Atlanta creators kind of thing together. We have to come out next time. It was fun.
Heck yeah.
As long as little ones can,
we're gonna fly Dave in. Fly Dave in on a private jet.
Yeah, that's how I plan to show up. So yeah, let's.
Dude, Berto came down from Word Island.
Berto came.
Yeah. No, I'm very overdue for a visit. So
absolutely, dude. We already told you on the last show. If the beer, beers are on us. So
yes, sir.
I can't pass that.
So Bro said, we're not going to baby Bijan. He will get 20 to 25 touches per game. We got him at 8 to be a stud. Let's not get soft. He's running back, not a powder puff girl. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the carries per se. I just, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's just he may be lined up so many times in the slot. He may be outside. He may be in. We don't know where he's going to be. As long as he's being used, as long as we're getting wins, nobody's going to be complaining about how many touches he gets. As long as he's, except for maybe the dynasty or the fantasy football folks that drafted him really early in the draft. So,
I was laughing about that actually, because Evan Birchfield on our site, he did a Madden simulation of the season, which of course you can't put any stock into it. But Kyle Pitts only caught 2 touchdowns, and I read that and I just burst out laughing. I'm like, people's heads are going to explode, man.
That's proof we're living in a simulation.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Will.
I mean, which, by the way, also, Will, we did like a little. Do you play fantasy at all every year or no?
I'm in 3 leagues. I'm trying to pare that back. Yeah, we actually had a nice live drafts or live fantasy draft last Sunday with some friends that I've been in the league 10 years with now. So yeah, definitely a big fantasy guy.
So we did like a Falcons creator. We have to get you on it next year because we Dave's in there, and it's gonna be a lot of shit talking going on. We have the whole group chat going on. So yeah, it's gonna be. We thought about doing it live, but that'd just been too much of a pain in the butt. But Dave, you feel okay about your team, buddy?
I feel pretty good about my team. I saw Aaron getting his dig in there at us. You know, we drafted kickers already. I was like, come on.
Dude, I drafted my entire lineup plus like 2 other guys. I'm like, man, there's nothing else. I mean, I need a good kicker. So
yeah, you gotta lock them up at some point. But no, I feel pretty good about it. I got Mahomes in the first round. You know, like that's all I wanted.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. 3 Dirty, what's going on, man?
3 Dirty.
He said, on paper, the media and the NFL knows the Falcons have a team that cannot be underestimated, but we'll have to go out and show them. Yeah, for sure, man. Exactly, man.
You got to earn respect, man.
Man, appreciate you, Mad Mike.
Man, we appreciate you doing that.
He said, neglected my own crew to watch it. I appreciate you, buddy. All right, man. So, Mike, did you do the with your segment when I was out or no?
No, I didn't.
Well, let's go ahead and do that, buddy.
Well, let's go do this. Okay, I got something special for these 4, okay? For these 2, okay? It's called Dave and Will's Fake or Reals, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down a list with some things, and I'm going to ask each one of you. I'm going to go back and forth, and you tell me if this is fake or if it's real, okay? That's all I want to tell them. Okay, so we're going to start off right here. Dave, the Falcons were established in 1968. Is that fake or real?
That is fake.
Damn it, Dave. Dave is good. It's 1965. Jesus Christ. How did you know
3 years
okay.
off. Yeah.
Good one, Dave. Good one. Will, the Falcons drafted a Hall of Fame quarterback in 1991. Is that fake or real?
That is real, and it is Brett Favre.
Oh, okay.
Damn, look at you.
I'm loving it. I'm
Holy
loving
smokes.
it. Dave, the Audio Falcon Mind podcast is less than 2 years old. Is that fake or real?
That is real, although it feels like you guys have been around forever in a good way.
That's spot on. I gotta love it. Will. Okay, Will. It's a good one, Will, man. Okay. OJ Santiago invented the Dirty Bird. Is that fake or real, Will?
Oh, that's fake.
Oh, that's right. Do you know who invented it?
Yeah. Jamal Anderson.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I thought that I was like, did he get that from somebody named OJ Santiago?
No. These dudes are 4 for 4. Now, hey, Dave, I got a good one for you. Now, you know this touched me to my heart. Matt Ryan was the first $30 million per year quarterback in NFL history. Is that true or is that fake or real?
Crap. Fake.
It's actually true. He was the first.
Damn
and
it. I couldn't remember.
Got him right after that. That was good.
right.
Don't you get Matty Ice wrong, Dave. Come on, man. I got to ban you from the show. Will, John has been hit by a truck as a pedestrian.
Damn.
Johnny Yates was on foot and got hit by a truck as a pedestrian. Is that fake or real?
Well, first, what are the other ways you can be hit by a truck?
Like if he was in a car, he can get hit when he was in a car, but he can
on
get
a bike.
hit.
Okay, so but then you're an active combatant, I guess. You're no longer like you're in the game. You're not just a pedestrian or a bystander. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, see?
I'm gonna say because like why is that just totally yes?
No, it's actually false. I got hit by a truck as a pedestrian. That's actually false. 10 feet in the air. Amazing. Broke both legs. It was awesome. Okay, moving on.
All right.
Dave. Lil Wayne is the greatest rapper alive. Dave, is that fake or real?
I'm gonna say real.
Oh, I'm gonna say that's true. I'm just say that's true just because that's my personal opinion. So, man, I love you, Dave. Will,
I'm back on the show. All right.
See you back on the show. Will, I got a good one for you. Gummy bears are made from boiled pig bones. Is that fake or real?
Oh my gosh!
Dude.
Wow. I'm gonna say real.
That's actually real.
Wow.
That's actually real. It's how gelatin is produced from boiled pig bones. You're spot on, Will.
You know what I learned the other day is that fake vanilla extract, which is way more. It's like basically what we're using. There is beaver anal gland essence.
Yeah,
I saw that today.
Yep.
I swear to God, I just saw that today, Will. That's crazy, right?
It's making the rounds, I guess. You know.
Yeah, right. I got one for you, Dave.
Man.
Now, come on, Dave. Now it's another Matt Ryan one. Come on, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. Fake or real? Matt Ryan in his senior year in high school was the captain of the baseball, football, and basketball team all at the same time.
I think that's true.
You are actually, sir, spot on, sir. Matt Ryan was the captain of all 3 teams his senior year in high school.
Here's a fun one for you, actually. His wife was the best girls basketball player in the state of Maine, and I know because I saw her play in high school.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's real.
Yeah.
Will,
That's not fake. Yeah.
Will. I got one again. John has tore ligaments in his foot like savagely twice in like 18 months. In the same foot. John has tore 2 ligaments in his foot twice in a short span in his life. Is that real or fake?
I feel like you're going to tell me like that was Dave who actually tore these ligaments.
I did tear 2 ligaments earlier this year, so it could be. I don't know. But
How did you do that, Dave?
I slipped on ice, man. Like I broke my ankle. I needed surgery. It was great. It was awesome.
Oh man.
Not even a fun story.
I'm gonna say
it's actually real, Will.
Okay, I was gonna say real. I was gonna say that one I thought was real.
John broke. He was playing basketball and he actually tore his whole foot up twice in
it was great. It was great. It was 8th grade basketball. I broke my right foot, tore 2 ligaments, got off the came back for freshman basketball. First game, same damn thing happened again.
I love this though. Let's get all the injury talk out now, so that it's all on.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all us, not the team.
I'll do it again so Bijan doesn't get one. I'll do it again.
All right. Yeah.
I'll go step off a curb right now. Damn it! I got some questions. Go ahead, Mike.
Please. So it's the last one. Dave and Will's fake or reels. The last one. American singles is not legally cheese.
That is true.
Yeah.
Will, do you agree?
I agree.
That is actually real. It's not cheese at all. That's why they call it American singles instead of cheese.
I assume anything that's got a Z for the cheese is not cheese. You know,
it's not cheese. David Will's fake or reels. You gotta love them. Out of your fucking mind. Let's go.
Love it. All right. Miss Pam had a question here in the chat that I got to find again. And it's basically, she said, if I can find it, that's on it. She's asking about which coaches will help out in the quarterback room. I'm happy that they kept Logan Woodside on, and his input will help Desmond out. That was going to be a question I asked you guys. Were you surprised that they kept? I was kind of surprised they kept Logan on. Not that he didn't earn it, because he played a hell of a preseason. He played his ass off. I just didn't see the point of having a third quarterback at this time. But hey, I'm not the coach. What did y'all think, and who you see helping out the quarterbacks?
Dave, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go first. I was not surprised. I think after the second preseason game, certainly after the third, just the way he played, the fact that they have, as much as they may believe in Desmond Ridder, somewhat unproven, I think they want that third emergency guy. And let's be honest, Felipe Franks isn't here to take that role. He's not walking through that door. He's not tight end 6. He's not QB3. Without that, you need 2 players to fill the void there. So they kept, John Fitzpatrick and Logan Woodside. And that's together, they're like half Felipe Franks in Arthur Smith. Sorry. So, but yeah, so I was not that surprised by it because, again, he played well. And I think the new rule has encouraged. I know it's a little bit less than half the league kept 3 quarterbacks. I know the Patriots originally only kept 1. But I do think it's something that they have on their mind. Like, let's be safe, not sorry. And then in terms of who's helping out the quarterbacks, I think Dave Ragone's obviously going to have a huge role there. He is a former quarterback. I think he's a guy who talks all the time about what he learned from his career. He's a good mentor for a young quarterback like Desmond Ridder. And I think, bringing in Heineke, who's an experienced guy who's been through a little bit of a tumble himself with a weird quarterback situation in Washington, weird dysfunctional team. Like, he's got a lot of wisdom to impart too. So I think they've got plenty of guys to help Ridder out. I think Ragone, again, having that background, I know he's pulling double duty, but I think he's going to be the guy they turn to. It sounds like he's got a good rapport with Ridder already.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, only because I was trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out the strategy behind like this rule, like how our team's actually going to use it. And in that way, it would have made more sense to me if this was Felipe Franks, weirdly, because I'm like, okay, you can use him in a lot of different ways on game day. Like he's kind of a valuable third quarter. Like it like Taysom Hill. Like that would just be okay. So you get just kind of a free guy here. I would be curious to know. There's got to be some ways to prevent that, but it is just a case where I do wonder if this is a situation where Arthur Smith is really kind of like showing investment in a player who he has been with a lot and who has shown that growth, and you want to reward those players. And it's a long season and the active roster is going to change a lot. I don't know if Logan Woodside is like that high up on the depth chart, and if moves need to be made and attrition starts to happen, then how valuable is that rule? That's where I'm really curious to figure that out, because it's either extremely valuable, and for that reason, like Logan Woodside's going to be here all season long, or it's something they want to see and test out, and maybe nothing really comes of it, and then you've got an expendable spot to kind of open up for another position. Yeah. And then in terms of just the coaches helping out in the quarterback, that is maybe one area where Logan Woodside, given his history with Arthur Smith, can at least speak that language and help. If Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke, for that matter, has kind of that question, he can be a little bit of that Arthur whisperer in the room. And you mentioned Dave Ragone. I'll mention one more, TJ Yates. Like, he's the wide receivers coach, but don't underestimate the importance of having a former NFL quarterback. And, he went to my high school, shout out Pope High School. So, somebody who I've had an eye on forever. He is really smart, really creative. If you've been seeing some of the videos that Mike Rothstein has been sharing on Twitter about just the different kind of obstacles that he's coming up with, I think he's going to prepare these receivers to really know from a quarterback perspective, like what is expected and how to help Desmond Ridder out. And that is going to be just as valuable as anything that they could tell Desmond Ridder.
I have a question for you guys. It's a lot of veterans on our team who have younger potential under them, who could be something, who could possibly skyrocket if everything goes right. If you had to pick one player who's going to benefit from his position's veterans the most and excel, who you picking?
You want me to go, Dave?
Yeah, you go first, Will. Go ahead.
I will say Zach Harrison benefiting from having Calais Campbell.
That's a good one.
I think I've been very impressed with the early returns from Zach Harrison. He was somebody where I was looking at their draft class in the immediate aftermath, and I was kind of like, this, and it still is early, right? So I'm not gonna declare him one way or the other, but he has impressed me with what he's done. And most importantly, the quote that really stood out to me about him in the best possible way was Arthur Smith saying that he's the type of player that doesn't make the same mistake twice, which crucially we saw from Desmond Ridder last preseason. I Bleav it was against the Lions, where he throws basically one pass and it gets batted down by the linebacker. They come back to the exact same play like 3 plays later, and he puts just enough touch to get it over his outstretched arm for a big gain. That showed growth in the span of a couple of plays. If Arthur Smith is saying that Zach Harrison is showing the same kind of in practice, then that makes me very optimistic about his growth, and pair him now with one of the very all-time best in Calais Campbell. That's a great start to a career.
I like it. Dave?
I mean, that was my answer, so I shouldn't.
No.
But I can't be, I'm not going to mix it up just for the sake of mixing it up. I do feel like the veterans along the defensive line, the fact that you have as your defensive coordinator a really good defensive line coach, that's all going to work really well for Zach Harrison. And he's a player that, again, when they took him, I figured project player, going to be a year or two. It still might be, but I do feel like with the focus of this coaching staff, with Calais Campbell, Grady Jarrett, just everybody he's got in the room with him, he's got a really good chance of reaching his full potential. And I think that's a pretty high. So I think he's a guy that a year or two from now, we're going to be talking about as a potential starter.
And I'll give a bonus answer real quick of just, I really think that Mac Hollins will have a nice positive influence on Drake London.
I got you. Yeah.
Over the course
he's going to be
season.
Eating soup with his hands.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. Walking barefoot. Yeah.
All right. We got a super chat from somebody. Look at this guy.
Big Low. Hey, somebody say something about me winning the fantasy draft. What in the world, Bo?
Big Low, we appreciate the super chat, buddy. That's very
my
kind.
man,
Very
dog.
kind
Thank
of you.
you.
Very kind of you. I was going with the next question, actually. Somebody had a question. Well, it wasn't.
Thank you,
a
Lo,
question
for
more
earlier,
than.
man. I just meant to say that earlier for like what you said earlier. Thank you.
All right, Baby J, what's up, buddy? He said Clark Phillips looks like a great cover corner, but he's getting knocked for his size, and D. Alford holds his own. Who do you guys trust more in the slot at that CB position? And I'll piggyback that with a question with outside of Bijan, which rookie do you think has the biggest impact on this team this year? Will, how about you, buddy?
Yeah. Short answer for both of or for the cover position, I would be very confident with both of them. I think that Clark Phillips has really looked solid from day one as a rookie, tenacious, really not afraid to mix it up. And that's what you need in that slot corner. And then just D. Alford looks like a pro. I mean, and that's the best possible compliment I could give to him for somebody who has come from, the Canadian Football League and come to join the NFL. And last year didn't get a ton of opportunities, but when he did, man, he made a big impact. And now he's taken this next step and really grabbed this role. So either of those guys, I think my default is D. Alford, just because he did kind of have that whole run of preseason and he is a little bit older. You give Clark Phillips, and they've tended to kind of allow the rookies to grow a little bit unless they really need to throw him in there. But honestly, the rookie they threw in there the most was Jalen Mayfield, and we know how that worked out. So I think that approach is wise. Get D. Alford, get your best 11 guys on the field. And, if Jeff Okudah, when he's back, that's him. If that means D. Alford you feel is better than Trey Flowers on the outside, go with him, and Clark Phillips on the inside, move him. Like, I think they can be flexible here. And then in terms of the rookie outside of Bijan that I'm most excited to keep an eye on, DeMarco Hellman's made a heck of a push for that, but I think it'll be Matthew Bergeron, because he'll be the guy.
That was my pick.
He'll be the guy that's out there like from the jump and in a big way. And it's going to be really, like we talk about, impactful tandems. If the Falcons had a rookie quarterback receiver group or like another quarterback coming in with Bijan, that's all we talk about. But they have an awesome rookie tandem in their left guard and their rookie running back. And that's going to be a lot of fun to watch as well. So he's probably the one that I want to keep an eye on.
Dave?
Yeah, I'll start with the larger rookie question, and it is Bergeron. He's got the starting job. I think there's no question that he's going to be out there. He's going to have a huge impact. There is nobody that this team is going to be thrilled to replace him with. So he's not in danger of losing that job, but he's also just supremely talented. I think in general, but as a run blocker, he is ready day one to make an impact in a way that, a year ago they got by. Elijah Wilkinson was fine. Matthew Hennessy did a good job when he was in there for a couple games. Even Colby Gossett, solid. But I think Bergeron has way more upside than any of those three. I think that's obvious in that particular regard, and they're going to run the ball a lot. So he's going to have a huge impact. In terms of which one I'm more comfortable with, Clark Phillips is maybe my favorite non-Bijan player in this class long term. I think he can be actually really good. I'd say right now, D. Alford's the guy I'm more comfortable with taking that role. I think Alford's been impressive from the jump. I think Terry Fontenot's gone to that CFL well a lot over the years. I think it's safe to say he was probably heavily involved with getting Delvin Breaux from the CFL, who was a good corner for a little bit till he got hurt. Eric Harris obviously came in with the Saints. So this is the first guy maybe in that pipeline that looks like he could be an above average starter. And I think the confidence they've shown in him throughout the summer and just what he's done since he's gotten here suggests that he's the guy that should be manning the slot. I think he will be to start. But I think Phillips, later in the year, next year, starting caliber player for sure.
Shout out to you, Mike, for calling Clark Phillips a long time ago, buddy.
Called it a long time ago, dog. He was aggressive, and I really think he gonna get some pick sixes this year if you put him in. He's aggressive, man. He got to be disciplined, and that's what he got to learn in the NFL, because you ain't gonna get burnt you trying to jump them routes in the NFL. But I got him getting at least 2 pick sixes. I'm gonna cheat on my answer because I know that he ain't a rookie, but it's just Desmond Ridder, because I feel like is a rookie. We only saw him play 4 games. I never seen you really start in the NFL or have he didn't. But what he did was not fair. But that isn't fair for a rookie. He didn't get to prepare correctly. He didn't get to go. That was unfair. So now it's fair. So now we get to see for real his rookie season. So I'm kind of anxious to see Desmond, man. I think the boy got all the traits: the height, the size, the strength, the speed. I want to see if that translates.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to say Bergeron is as like both you, Dave and Will too, just because, like you said, he's going to have an instant impact day one. I mean, not to shit on Mayfield any more than we already have, but I mean, like in that one game, he looked better than Mayfield ever looked at that position just in the one game against Cincinnati. And that's not being like, I'm not being an asshole. Like that's how he looked. He looked great. Right. I mean, he had a few iffy snaps, of course, the first snap, I mean, a little jittery, I get it, but man, it just looked like he fit right in, like athletic and, bit the giant dude putting his hands on people, throwing guys around. That's what you want to see from that position. It's great. But yeah, I am curious to see how they're going to use Helms. I'm sure they're going to use him on special teams, but he does bring a good skill set to the defense. So I mean, I don't know. I think they could be equal creative with what they do with him. But yeah, we'll have to see. And guys, the chat's going crazy, man. I'm not going to keep up with you guys. We'll be here 5 hours if I do that. So apologies if I don't get to your chat, to your comment. And we have a lot more folks watching live, which is great. I'm sure it's a combination of the season's getting ready to start and the 2 guests that we have. So if you are new tonight, again, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Hope you subscribe. Hope you like the video. Hope you come back. We do a preview show every week on Thursday evenings for the game coming up. We do a recap show sometime between Sunday and Tuesday, depending on my kids' baseball schedule and how that works out. So we just have to roll with it. So, but we really do appreciate you guys stopping in. Billy Mills said he's not too worried about Ridder, but one of the edge rusher, his only concern is the edge rusher which one will step up. So from the edge rushing position, Mike, we'll start with you, buddy. What do you think?
I'm gonna tell you this. I'll say this and I'll say it and say it again. It's not, regardless of that, Grady Jarrett gonna have his best season as an Atlanta Falcon. I keep trying to explain to you guys, man, Julio Jones, it was a stat that they said he was like the most double guy in like the history of the league at like wide receiver. He was more double. And he was still doing exceptionally well. But I'm just saying this was with 2 people on him. It's damn near impossible to succeed with 2 people on you, man. These are professional athletes. I don't care what position. It's 2 people blocking you. That's damn near. And you still see Grady Jarrett. But now when it's 1 person, I don't care who you put in front of Grady Jarrett. Like he getting ready to eat food. Grady Jarrett is out of this whole team, he the one that's licking his chops the most. Because he gonna say, oh man, I got help. Like you can't key on me no more. I'm getting ready to terrorize. I'm getting ready. I still don't think that we've seen the peak of Grady Jarrett. I think we'll see it this year, young. When that man is getting single, there's nobody stopping Grady Jarrett. So when you talk about defensive line, I'm talking Grady Jarrett. Man, he gonna have an excellent season. I promise you.
Will?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great answer because he's obviously very good. And the key thing here is the size that's been added, right? Like if teams do decide to still dedicate a double team to Grady, like all of those other one-on-one blocks are going to be really like a handful. So that's going to be a real, like they made that choice as tough as possible. I have very good feelings about Arnold Ebiketie in his second year. I think that kind of in the way that Dave was talking about using Bijan in these high leverage moments, I think that that's what they're going to do with Arnold Ebiketie. And I at first was a little bit worried when I saw him in that first preseason game, like getting snaps into the 4th quarter. And then when it happened again against Cincinnati, I was like, like what's happening here? You're also seeing like Michael Walker, being released and just like these moves that were kind of coming all over the place. And I was like, is this something I need to pay attention to? After talking to some people, it's basically just like a depth thing. Like after Ade Ogundeji went down, like the numbers just weren't there. So they really needed D'Angelo Malone and Arnold Ebiketie to be playing these snaps. And I think now I've gone full 180 on that. I think that's a great thing. I think that they got a lot of use. Like those are guys that could use those reps in the preseason, get them as many reps as possible. Cause I don't think their workload is going to be huge in the regular season. So I don't worry about them being tired, and they played well. I think that Arnold Ebiketie's confidence probably ticked up this preseason. So going into the season, surrounded by these veterans, I actually look at the younger dude ready to kind of step up. And I liked what I saw in year 1. So let's see if he can get home a little bit more often in year 2. But yeah, I think Arnold Ebiketie is going to be that guy to kind of stand out.
Yes, sir.
Love it,
Dave.
And before you answer, yeah, we actually saw against Cincinnati, they decided to double Grady and Onyemata, and Caden Ellis came up the middle, and
it's going to come from everywhere. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, yeah, if that's your plan, then good luck, because there's going to be a lot of you have a lot of issues during that game. Anyway, Dave, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll be one guy. I think Ebiketie's the obvious pick as a player. I liked a lot last year. He was another one of those guys that really got put through it, right? Everybody was like, crap, he stinks, 2 sacks or whatever on the year. Not everybody, but plenty of people. I did see those comments. But I think, dealing with an injury, rookie, it's tough to get rolling. I thought I saw a lot of positive things from him anyways. He's a talented dude. I think he'll have plenty of opportunities. I think he'll be terrific. But I also think, D'Angelo Malone should get some chances. I think you'll see Calais Campbell lined up on the edge somewhat. I think you'll see Caden Ellis occasionally there. It's going to be a real team effort. I don't think there is one guy who is like a 10-sack guy on this team this year, although I would love to see it from Ebiketie. I think it's going to be by rotation. I think heavily this front is going to generate pressure by putting guys in the best possible situation. So, but he is the guy I think you want to keep an eye on. And I think I agree with Mike that, Grady Jarrett's going to have a great season. My prediction is he will once again lead the team in sacks this year. And it'll probably be 6, 7, 8 sacks again. But if
is that a good thing?
Generating more pressure.
He said, is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Is that like he's leading the team with sacks and he's got 7? I don't know, man, Dave. I need more than that from one guy.
I need 10.
I would love to tell you there's 10, but I don't see 10 this year from anybody. I hope I'm wrong. Please hold me to this, but I don't see it.
We got a couple more super chats. Mad Mike, man, we appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, man.
He said Dave Choate on AFN. Love to talk to you, buddy.
All right.
And then Big Boy Brewski.
Big
What's
Boy
on,
Brewski,
Appreciate
my
it,
man.
Good to see you, brother. And thanks again for the super chat, guys. We appreciate it. All right, so
Dave has said something. I'm gonna say, here's what I do on the show. When people be talking, sometimes I hear something and I get so excited. Somebody be like, damn, I ain't gonna be able to sleep because I'm be thinking about that. And what it is was Dave said high leverage for Bijan. And I'm just thinking about that. Suppose they gave Tyler, I wasn't thinking about this, so Dave said it. Suppose Tyler get like 60-40 and you do Tyler the way and then you really save him for high leverage. Like, we need you for this. Like, so that way you don't use it. And it's kind of what Tyler does. He's like a volume curve. He need those. And then you do that. I just thinking, since he said, I'm thinking, but that probably would be the best way. Is just to do 60-40 with him as high leverage. Like, because I don't want like Tyler to drop like under him. I don't think that's right. I don't think you do that. I don't think you give him 60 and give Tyler 4. I'm not in agreement with that at all. At all. He got to get the lion's share of it, man. I'm sorry. The man has proven himself, and he's a durable back. You bring him up for specific things that you do. But I think that you got to run the offense through Tyler. It got to be mainly, he's proven. This is in stone. So you got to go through. So I'm just sitting here thinking what Dave said and say, man, that shit 60-40, them two. And then is that why they got him? It's like, oh, it's a 2-head monk. Like, we can do what we always wanted to do. Like, is that so that why we got to take this dude? So now I'm just excited, just sitting here thinking about what Dave said. He said that shit like an hour ago, and I've been playing it over and over and over in my mind. Like, damn it, if that happened, that's going to be awesome.
Well, and here's the thing, like, ideally, right, this is like a supercharged version of Warrick Dunn and TJ Duckett, right? Because you had Warrick Dunn was great, different player, but like late career, you're looking for Bijan to be like your lightning, but even more electricity, right? And Tyler Algier, I think TJ Duckett, God love him, my fantasy team loved him. He scored 10 touchdowns all the time, but like Tyler Algier is a better back, right? Yeah. So the two of them together in this scheme, like that's a scary thought. It is for everybody else, not for us.
I think he'll play the hot hand, and I think he'll a lot of it will depend on the opponent too. I mean, of who's getting the most carries, and later in the game, if we're up, I mean, nobody wants to see Tyler coming at you downhill, angry. I mean, that's not no defense wants to see that. So I mean, that's exactly when you want to. That's when you want to win the game.
Will said was like scarier when it's like, suppose they change this shit every week per opponent.
That's what they
And
will.
you don't like it's just no formula that it's that this is what we do. Oh, it's no formula. It's just per opponent. It's a specialized formula per opponent. You would have no clue what to do.
Mike, I've got good news for you, man. They've already been doing that. Now it's just they're gonna have even more dangerous guys.
Yeah.
How do you stop that when there is no formula?
Right.
I love
I hope
it,
as they can. Yeah.
Y'all got me excited. I love talking because I'm gonna be as soon as it's over, I'm gonna just sit here like this.
It's gonna be smiling sitting there for.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna
15
just
minutes.
sit here for like half an hour. Like, damn, Mason. I love it, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna see. He says it's not about Ridder being potentially great or potentially trash. It's about the unknown. 100% supporting DR9, but not ready to put him in savior status. We will still win the NFC South. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we're definitely not putting him in savior status either. I just think we're confident in what he's shown and the ability that he has to lead this particular offense. So I mean, if he becomes the savior, then hell yeah, we're all for it. But I mean, yeah, like you said, he's got to get out there in the field and prove it still.
Man.
Millie said,
and trust Taylor. Please trust Taylor. If you don't trust Desmond, trust Taylor. Trust me.
He said, Millie said, he's got my QB as a damn 70 overall. I'm mad. Dude, my kid Liam was so pissed about that. He had him this thing. He was rated the same as Felipe, I think, which is just asinine. Yeah, as quarterback. Yeah, go figure. That
Arthur Smith had a lot of input into that, though. So we gotta...
our brother said, please congratulate me because I'm winning. Talking about he's talking a lot of smack on that fantasy league we got going on, man. All right, so we'll get close to closing this thing down. I'm sure you guys have to get on soon. Everybody's kind of, well, not everybody, but I guess the biggest concern from a lot of folks around the team has been the linebacking position just in general, like the depth of it. You're not out yet on Troy. We're all excited about Troy, what he can be, what he could be. Do y'all agree or disagree with that as far as the linebackers go? Dave?
Yeah, Dave.
Whoever.
Yeah, it's my issue is I like Tay Davis. I think he's a really good fourth linebacker. I've been talking up Tay Davis. He's one of my guys apparently all summer. But good special teamer. I think in a pinch he can help you out. Nate Landman looked solid during the summer, but like the issue is like this isn't in a vacuum. You've got Caden Ellis, who I think can be a really good player. He's coming off a really great year. That's his only extended action as a starter. Troy Anderson is coming into his second year. You've seen some growth, I think, just in the limited time we've seen him, but we don't really know. And then your depth is really unproven, right? Like not a ton of defensive snaps in their career. You don't really know what you have. So to me, even more so maybe than wide receiver, which is another position where I have some small nightmares about the depth. Because you don't have proven starters, because you don't have proven depth. Yeah, it's one of those positions I do worry about. If Caden Ellis and Troy Anderson turn out to be great and durable, doesn't matter all that much. Davis and Landman are great special teamers. If that's not the case, I have to think they have to go shopping at some point because I wouldn't feel great about, having to start those guys if you had to.
Yeah, Will.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just picturing now Dave being like, my toxic trait is that I love Tay Davis.
Look, man, everybody, there needs to be a Kamal Ishmael every year for me. There has to be.
Man, he started laughing as soon as you said it. He started laughing at you as soon as you said Tay Davis.
Yeah. I got a reputation.
I think we're suffering a little bit from kind of just an unknown situation here where like Caden Ellis was really good last year. Yeah, it was his one year, but like it would qualify as a breakout if he was on your team. It just so happens that he was on New Orleans. And so we're not as aware of that. But if he was still in New Orleans, I guarantee they'd be sitting here saying like he's going to be a really fun player after that breakout season. Like we're really excited to have him back. So I'm kind of taking that mentality. And then you also couple that with the defensive coordinator he's paired with, somebody who knows how to use him. And you kind of have a clone of that player next to him and Troy Anderson. Like the area of this linebacker core that really concerns me is more the coverage aspects. But then when you look at what they've been doing all throughout the preseason and what the Saints have historically done, it's a lot of man coverage. Like, yeah, they changed some things up and they get multiple with the zones, but I kind of think that's going to be on like Jesse Bates and the safeties to handle some of that. And I really think that these linebackers are going to be kind of like first and foremost pressure guys on pass plays, because when you play that man coverage, you need to generate that pressure. And so if the Falcons are going to sit there and put these guys on islands consistently, they're going to want to get some heat on the quarterback. And that's where, we talk about these double teams. Like as soon as maybe they see a double teams happening, that could activate a trigger for either of these linebackers, again, depending on the game plan, depending on the team. But like, I wouldn't be shocked if we are really seeing them be a big part of the pass rush. So we'll see how the coverage goes. They're certainly athletic enough. And I'm not, if something goes wrong with Troy Anderson, like I won't be necessarily surprised, because we see players like that who have incredible athletic skills all the time, but he is smart. He I think will get it. Linebacker's just a tough position. So, I'm cautiously optimistic, but if there is a part of this defense that I would be like the least shocked is kind of the weakness, that interior linebacker spot, especially, would probably be it.
I do feel better though than when you started talking, Will. So if you can do that for like the backups on the offensive line, that would be great.
No, I can't. I can't.
I hit your limit. I'm sorry.
I can't. Yeah.
No, we didn't even get to the offensive line, and that's
too hard.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, we signed Isaiah Prince today. We didn't mention that, from the Broncos, played some time with the Bengals. Listening to our friend Aaron today on Locked On Falcons. I shot him out. He owes me at least like a lunch or something. I shot him out.
Shout out to
anyway,
Aaron, man.
But he said he watched the film on him and wasn't really. Didn't impress him that much more than Josh Miles already. What he did while he was here, but then we go back and bring back Josh Miles after we cut him to the practice squad, so he's back. But yeah, the depth on the offensive line is definitely, we just knock on wood that none of our guys go down and they have a very healthy season, because a lot of times Mike and I talked about it before, we kind of take Jake Matthews for granted. Sometimes he just shows up and plays every single game every day, all for his entire career. And, we hope that continues. Same thing with, Caleb and Lindstrom, and, we had Dahlman, obviously Bergeron. We just let's just not talk about the offensive line depth until we need to talk about the offensive line depth. We'll even talk about it. And a few more questions and we'll wrap this up. King Richie said, do you see Ryan Nielsen having a breakout year with this defense since he has a better roster?
I think this defense is going to be the story of the early part of the season.
I picked this defense on my pay league for the fantasy. So that's me putting a lot of faith in this defense. So yeah, I agree.
That is putting a lot of faith. I don't know if I can fantasy, but I think back a lot
later
to the 2012 season. I think that was Mike Nolan when he had his first year, and they played a game against Kansas City, and obviously that season would be defined by the offense and Matt Ryan, but they beat Kansas City 48-24, and they had 5 interceptions in that game. And I was just remember thinking man, this defense is totally different, totally changed. I would not be shocked at all if this team starts out of the gates in its first 4 games, it's allowing on average 20.3 points a game. I think that's going to be absolutely in play. And then we'll see where it goes from there once we have to start getting into this depth that comes with a long season. But I think the defense is better positioned to weather some of that stuff than the offense. So yeah, I expect this defense to be pretty good. I'm optimistic.
Dave.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Chiefs game you mentioned there, because that was our Falcoholic Facebook header for years, was Warren Sapp saying the Chiefs were going to win 35-0. We had some fun with that one. I love that. But I mostly agree. I don't know if it's going to be a great defense, but I think Ryan Nielsen wants to be aggressive. He wants to punch you in the mouth and take the ball away from you. I think the personnel is suited for that. And I think, more so than poor Dean Pease over the last couple of years, certainly before that, this defense has the talent to do what they want, impose their will. So I think, maybe there's not, aside from Jesse Bates and Grady Jarrett, maybe there's not a ton of elite guys here, AJ Terrell. But I think as a whole and as a cohesive piece, a well-coached piece, it's going to be a good defense. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
So I have to ask y'all this. Do y'all think Dean Pease would do a great job with this roster, or are you glad he kind of gone and with this roster? Or you think he would, if Dean Pease had this roster, or you think, nah, it's about time?
I don't think Dean Pease would have this roster.
I got you. See, that's a good one, Will.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, that's a good one, Will. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, did you you have anything to comment on that on Nielsen defense this year?
We going undefeated and going to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna keep saying that. That's my comment.
Got to shout out real quick. I shout out Larry on Dixon Way, man.
My man Larry.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for this Braves dot. It's gonna be a hell of a series, man. I cannot wait to get it started tonight too. And make sure if y'all ever want to watch the games with Larry and his wife, or just Larry, go over to the Dixon Way channel, and they actually live stream the games, do commentary. It's hilarious. It's awesome. And he does it for Falcons, does it Braves, Hawks, United, you name it. It's great, great content, man. Big John Higgins, what's going on, man? Good to see you,
Big John.
Hopefully, said Troy may break out this year. I hope so, man.
Troy will break out. Trust me.
Kiki said, "Hey, look at all the content creators in here tonight. Gotta love it." Oh, absolutely. It's been awesome. It's been great. Yeah. So, last thing from me, record guys. I mean, what are we thinking record wise here? I know, Mike, you already 17-0 Super Bowl.
Oh, you already know. Okay.
I'm not even asking you. I know what it is.
You know what I was coming with.
So Dave, what do you? Well, and you can preface it with saying, okay, if for I don't know, say we go 11-6, 12-5. Something like that. What needs to happen? Is there any one thing that needs to happen, or is it just a combination of like everything we've talked about, just kind of coming together and meshing, or is there one particular thing that would stand out to you for us to have that type of record?
Yeah, I've got them down for 10-7. So flip of the last 2 years. I think that's very, very well within reach. I think 11 or 12 wins.
Get worse, Dave.
What's
Dave,
that?
come on, wait a minute. Quote from how we get worse? Dave, how?
Not 16-1. Is that better? I can go that high.
That's good. That's good. Okay.
But you know,
wins, really, Dave? That's the
what's
ceiling.
that?
It's like 10.
I don't think the ceiling is 10. I think the ceiling is like 12, 13. If everything breaks right, you can win 12 or 13 games with this roster, with this coaching staff. I think things don't always break right? And like this team overachieved, I think, certainly in 2021. They're probably right about where they should have been a year ago. But I think where they'll end up, you know, there'll be a couple injuries. There'll be a couple of rough efforts. There'll be some things we don't expect. I still think this team, it's not maybe their hard floor, but I do think, you know, winning 10 games is extremely attainable, even if some things go wrong. So that's where I'm landing. I think it's 10 games, and I absolutely hope that, you know, New Orleans is one game behind them. They lose both games to them. Like I want it to unfold like a storybook, right? I think 10 wins very well might win the NFC South too. So, but to answer your question, John, like, I just think things have to go reasonably well to get there. I really do. Like, if Ridder turns out to be terrific, they're winning more than 10 games. If the defense is fantastic, you know, somebody has a breakout year, then they probably win more than 10 games. So that's it's not their floor, but it's the floor of their winning ways. I don't know. Too late for me to put that better than that, but I'll work on it.
Okay.
I'll do it. Thank you, man, Mike. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thank
Will,
you,
what
man.
you say, man?
Will.
Yeah, no, I like what Dave said there at the end about, like, look, if everything best case scenario, right? Because sometimes you got to evaluate the evaluators, and we are a pessimistic, beaten down bunch, and it's okay sometimes to say, look, what if Desmond Ridder comes out here and plays like Brock Purdy did for the first like several games of his career? You know, like, what if he comes out and we're sitting here talking about, wow, all right, no, it's not Kenny Pickett, it's Desmond Ridder, or this defense is starting to light it up, and you've got, you know, 13 sacks in your first 3 games. Like, it is okay to think about the kind of most optimistic viewpoint, and I'm shocked that I'm actually more optimistic than Dave. I've got them going 11-6, but I think that there's a sneaky chance that this Falcons team is like last year's Vikings team, and that they end up at that like 13-4, 14-3, and people are looking at them like, man, what is happening? How are the Falcons here? Because if they stay healthy and the best case, not even the best case, but like a few things break the right way, you know, Troy Anderson is an above average inside linebacker in year 2. You know, you get one of these young pass rushers. Matthew Bergeron is like a Pro Bowl caliber, you know, like something, one of those things is significantly puts you beyond that double-digit win mark, because I think this is an easy schedule. I think the coaching staff is really, really trustworthy. And yeah, think we've been for a lot of valid reasons. The unknown at quarterback, the lackluster record of the last 2 seasons, but I don't want to forget how it felt in each game. And the Falcons were in each game last year when they really shouldn't have been. And this year, the paper is on paper, the talent is much more equivalent. So I think that they're going to be better than even what we're thinking, because we have a tendency to just kind of say, okay, well, what's a safe number? With this team, I think it's okay to say, well, maybe they're better than the safe number, because the improvement they made is in multiple areas, and they just need a couple of those improvements to really take hold. And then we're as they like to say in Arrested Development, Carl Weathers, baby, now you got a stew going, right? That's what they need. They just need 1 or 2 of these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100%. And you're right. You see a lot of folks with a little bit of apprehension, because especially folks of a certain age who have been through a lot, ups and downs with the team over the years. So yeah, you a lot of folks just like waiting, like, yeah, this is great, but we're waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, when's this going to happen? So I get it, but I'll just keep one-upping. I'm normally more. Mike will tell you, I'm normally more kind of even kill. But I'll say 12. I'll say 12-5. I'll say 12-5, and I'll be on the optimistic side that Ridder is better than just average, and we do pull off a few more games. And saying that,
I've never picked us losing on this show. Like, we go week to week and we choose if we gonna win or lose. Like, we have to predict, and I pick a W every time. I'm not picking us to lose. I just don't. I agree with y'all, but in the way I'm thinking, it's all gonna break right. Like, I'm thinking it's gonna break right, and we breaking records, and Matt Ryan gonna come back and get hurt. I mean, somebody will get hurt. He gonna have to come in and he gonna win the Super Bowl. In my mind, it's gonna be an amazing year, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're hoping for. Everything breaks the right way. Everything turns out the way we want it to. I do think one of the games we probably lose will probably be one we shouldn't have. I mean, it happens every year. We'll beat a team we probably shouldn't have beat, and we lose to a team we probably shouldn't have lost to. Just NFL, that's how it happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic. And saying that, like Mike says, we do on our prediction show every week, our preview show, we do predictions. And I'm saying we're going to lose 5 games. I'll still predict us to win every game. I'm guarantee it's probably going to happen. I'll figure out a way to do that, but it's okay. And like Lisa said, Myles Garrett said it, the Falcons fans, don't be afraid to be optimistic. So I mean, jump on board, damn it. And and shout out to One Time for the Fan, also in the chat, Jack here, man. A couple of great shows every week. They're also out there doing it for you guys. So yeah, man, we'll close it down. Y'all been here over an hour and a half through all sorts of internet issues to begin the show. So we appreciate y'all being patient with that, as we all had our own individual issue going on. But we'll start with you, buddy, man. Plug your podcast and anything you got going on, man.
Yeah. So you guys can follow me on Twitter at Will McFadden. Check out all of my great written content over at the Falcoholic, along with everybody's excellent work over there. So once my laptop gets up and running, I'll get another piece in there to you, Dave.
Thank you.
Podcast Bleav in Falcons. Ovi will be back with me on Sundays after each game this season. Ovi Mahaley, for those who aren't, I guess, know him by a first name basis, but you all should. I mean, there's only one Ovi.
You should.
And so either
running backs. Go ahead.
Either tomorrow or Monday. The next episode will be up. It's with Nate Tice of the Athletic Football Show. All season long, if you guys listen to that podcast as well, which I would highly recommend. He has been fascinated by what the Falcons have been doing, specifically offensively. So just wanted to pick his brain on that, on all of that. And he does the best job of anybody I've ever heard, kind of explaining in simple terms why this offense is so unique and complicated and fun. So check that out. But that will be coming tomorrow or Monday.
Love it. Dave, man. Everybody knows you're the Falcoholic, but you go plug it anyway.
Yeah. So check out the Falcoholic if you've never been there before. It's a fun place to go. Will's there a lot, and do check out Will's work. But I think what have we got coming up? It's all going to be Panthers very shortly. So preview. We'll talk to Cat Scratch Reader, our Panthers blog. Fun bunch of guys over there, even if we hate them this week. and we'll have a lot of great preview content going to roll through the roster a little bit more. So excited to get the season started. I'm reeling a little bit that I somehow was the most pessimistic person here. That's never happened to me before with other Falcons fans. I don't know what I'm still like.
You're gonna have to do some. You have to do some reflection.
It's going to be a great year.
You're going to have to do some reflection.
You have to sit by yourself somewhere in your bedroom in a corner and just think about everything that you've said tonight.
I got 4 corners. I'll choose one. That's my bad. Sorry, guys. But yeah, definitely come check us out. And then game day, of course, we'll all be there. So we're excited.
Yeah, man. It's been great having you guys on. We'll definitely have you back on if you'll come on, of course. And we seem to have you on like literally at the beginning, middle, and end of every season. I don't know. It just kind of ends. It kind of just happens that way. But so we'll probably see you sometime, maybe, I don't know, like November, December, somewhere around there. But
let me say this real quick, man. Thank you guys for being on the show. And I always have to say this. Man, y'all are like, man, rock stars to us. We like admire y'all and we look up to y'all. So it's like awesome when I have y'all on the show like this and y'all like humble and like fun. It's not stiff. Like, y'all are awesome people. It's every time you come on, it like Dave and Will, like, it's just fun, man. I like that y'all don't take it too serious and you know how to come on and have a great time. I always have a great time with Dave, man, and it was awesome with you this time, Will. I hope you can come back, man. I can feel your passion through the fucking laptop, man. And I love you, buddy. So I just want to thank y'all for always coming on and having and just being able to be silly and have fun with us, man, because that's the most important thing. We have a good time, and it was fucking awesome. So thank you guys for real, man.
It was so nice, Mike. Yeah, thank you so much.
Sure. No, he's telling the truth, man. I mean, we started this just for the hell of it, to figure out, like, have some fun, you know. Mm-hmm. We've obviously read the Falcoholic for years, like read your work, Will, listened to you for years, and so yeah, it's just very awesome that y'all come on, man. It's great, and obviously we had a shit ton of folks tonight watching it, so it was really cool for everybody to come through. If you're still here, we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us for, like I said, an hour and 40 minutes and putting up with some of the issues that we had. But yeah, so you can catch me and Mike and myself every week, Thursday evening, 7:30, previewing the show coming up, or previewing the game coming up for the weekend. So yeah, we'll be back next Thursday previewing the Panthers game. Cannot wait to get into it. And then I don't know if we have practice next Sunday or not, so we may have to. We'll figure it out. We'll recap the show, recap the game. I keep saying the show. We'll recap the game sometime after that on Sunday. But you guys can follow us on Twitter at Out of Your Effing Mind. We do a lot of tweeting during the games, sometimes emotionally charged. So you'll have to, forgive us if that happens. But we're fans, so it happens. And then, of course, you can, if you haven't already subscribed, we really appreciate this if you hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and hit the like button for us again, so we can get out to more Falcons fans in the community and just keep the support flowing. And, of course, iTunes, Spotify can drop us a 5-star review. And like I said at the beginning of the show, our merch, bonfire.com/out of your Falcon mind. We've got our regular shirts there with our logo on it. We've got the Who Threw That shirts, which have been doing pretty good. We thought, what the hell with those out there? They've been doing really well. So that was good. And then we added one just recently for the Alzheimer's research. It's a purple shirt with our logo on it. So again, all the half the proceeds will go toward Alzheimer's research and everything. So guys, again, we appreciate you all for coming on tonight, talking some preview with us, and make sure you guys that are listening and watching, listen to Bleav in Falcons with Will every week, as we do, and tune into the Falcoholic, Kevin Knight, when he does his streams during the week. They're great. Anything they have going on in the Falcoholic, man, y'all have to be tuned into that. So again, guys, we appreciate you all.
We love you, dudes, man. Thank you.
Great.
And as soon as I find the outro video, there it is. Guys, we will see you next week. Have a great weekend, and we will catch you later. Mike, take us out.
Out of your Falcon mind. Peace.